So I see a blue million people on the forums all the time, and they're like, if I put 37s on my, F350, F250, what is it going to change on my fuel mileage? So we've got a trip to Indiana, and I'll just go ahead and tell you, I do not normally drive for fuel mileage, but what I mean by that is I drive faster than most people, but it'll give you guys an idea. These are a 37, 12, 50, 20 on a 20x9 Hostile sprocket rim. And I run this Hot Shot Secret EDT in every fill up almost. So if you want to count that as cheating or whatever, you count it as is. But the pumps on these Fords and all these other trucks, the diesel fuel, the sulfur and all that stuff, and the lubricity is so low that this helps. It's the reason I do it. I don't want my truck, the pump messing up on me at all, but it might do it anyway. Anyway, so I'm going to put that in there, and then we got to go to my son's baseball practice. We're taking a trip to Indiana and back, and we're going to see what the fuel mileage, is on these 37s. My 35s, I mean, the truck's not even completely broke in, but it should still give you an idea, especially if you've had one of these trucks before. My 2020 would get way over 20 miles a gallon out on the highway. Which it didn't have 37s on it. It just had the regular, it wasn't a trimmer. It just had the regular Michelin tires on it. So we're going to see what these do in comparison. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I run anywhere from 70 to 90 mile an hour everywhere I go. So that's going to give you an idea, and I'll kind of show you guys through the trip. All right, so we're filling up at this gas station. When we come back, we'll do the same thing, see how many miles we went, and see what it says on the dash. I've got about 32 to 3,300 miles on this. We're delivering a custom mantle for a fireplace to Indiana for a couple, some of our family members, but I'll show you guys that later. We make them all the time. If you guys are interested in getting one of those, just let me know. I've reset my trip, and I'm sitting at a light right now, and then I've reset my average fuel mileage. Like I said, we're on 37s, pretty gnarly MT 37s. We're going to see on this trip. We're going to Seymour, Indiana, so it's a pretty good little haul. We'll see what we get. Right now it says 4.1. I've got 3,269 miles pretty much. Let's see what we get on this. Hit some baseballs?
Yeah.
You gonna knock them out of the park?
Yeah.
So we're 25 miles in this trip. Right now I'm averaging 15, and I've been running 63 to 64 set by cruise on up and down terrain. This is the first flat spot that we've got onto, but right now it's setting at 15. I absolutely love driving this truck with the hands-free system. If you guys are in the 22 and back, and you're looking at these 23 and 24 and 25 trucks that are coming, this to me is worth the upgrade itself. And if you guys don't know, these trucks will run 100 mile per hour, where the old ones were governed at, I think it was 96 or 97. I would upgrade just for that too. But anyway, 15.1 at 25.6. I do have a tonneau cover on, so we'll see what we get. When we get up here on the interstate in about another 20 mile, I'll probably set my cruise at 75 to 80, and we'll see what it does then. So far, we have been running 69 to 70 mile per hour. This road's a 60 to 65, depending on where you're at. But we're about to get on the interstate. We're 41.6 miles, and we're at 15.4 miles per gallon. Been driving for roughly an hour if you consider, well, actually 50 minutes. So let's see what we get on interstate at 70 to 80. I'll set it at 75 just to see. The turds on there. There's y'all some whams. So we're at 15.1, 71 miles. I've been running between 70 and 85. We'll see what we get when we get on up here. I'm wondering how far my speedometer's off, because we've been blowing by people like they're sitting still most of the time. And even in the fast lane, like when I start to, most people run 80 in a 70 mile an hour, on the fast lane. And I've been setting mine at 80, but it's still going around people like they're sitting still most times. So I'm wondering if my speedometer's 2 to 5 mile an hour off what it would be. I've tried finding on Google Maps, you could see it on there, but I'll try to find that before we get this trip done. All right, so we're about to get off the exit. We went 131.6, 14.8. We'll be doing a lot of slow round town driving in Seymour, and so we'll see what fuel mileage goes up to. It seems like it does way better. It got up to 15.6, almost 16 at one point when we was in the 55 to 60 range. But we'll see. You guys know anything cool in Seymour? That's where I picked this one up at.
Sure do. And I was actually made by her.
Yeah. That you was, baby. I haven't watched this the whole time, but we're heading back home now on this trip, and I wanted to show you guys. This exhaust filter said 30% whenever we started the trip, and now it says 0. And I noticed that my fuel mileage over the past 10 miles or 20 miles has been going down pretty rapidly. So I wanted to give you guys that info, and I want to show you this. So if I go back to the main menu, let's get to my view and look at this trip. So here's the trip. We went 200, almost 200 miles, and 13.8 miles per gallon. Now, I have loaded, we're heading home now from Seymour, Indiana, and I've loaded a water tank in the back of the truck. It doesn't have anything in it, but my tonneau cover's rolled up, and I'm sure this is going to catch a lot of wind. But right now, we're getting 13.8, the exhaust filter's 0. I'm going to see what it says by the time we get home. But during that time period, I guess it did a regen and really dropped the fuel mileage. But so far, I don't know how accurate this will be, but I'll fill it up when we get home and hand calculate it. But looks like we're going to average like 14 miles per gallon on this trip, which is horrible in comparison to my 2020 with just regular Michelins on it. But these are a much bigger tire, so we'll see by the time we get home what it does. We're driving down the, what is this called?
I don't know.
Muscatatuck?
Yeah, Muscatatuck area.
Did you forget?
No, I don't bottoms anymore, so I didn't know.
This is your stomping ground. You're supposed to know this place.
Yeah. We're by the Muscatatuck River.
If you guys didn't hear that, it's Muscatatuck. Tuck Muscata.
Muscatatuck River.
See it right there?
Yeah.
Too fast. There it is. Big river. Oh, big and looked like a fat creek. So I definitely think that I went through a regen, because we just got off the interstate and I was running 85. We hit 90 a couple of times and it went up to 14.3. And like I said, I was driving it pretty rough. This is the first time you really drove this. How do you feel about driving it?
I feel good. I just started driving, so.
A little nervous?
No, I'm not nervous.
You good?
I'm good.
She just put my mirrors in, trying to adjust them, and she's got me all jacked up in my seat. But
She always has me
Anyway. So before we go to the pump, this says 14.7 at 310.2 miles. We're gonna fill up over here and see what we get at the pump. And we'll say 310.5 just to be safe. Go the one over here. That one, yeah. It fills up the fastest. Let's see what we get. See, here's what I had on the back. That's why I said it goes up like 1 inch above the cab. So it was probably doing a little bit of wind. But on the way up, I had this tonneau cover on until we got to going back. So, you know, it kind of evens it out if you guys don't have a tonneau cover in comparison to that not being on there. Let's see. I love that these Fords, you can put the big semi one in and turn it wide open and it'll take it. That one's deleted, you can hear it. There's 21. Let's wait a few seconds and see. These pumps are covered in diesel fuel. Alright, so there it is. So we went 310 miles. Let's see on here. 310.5 divided by 21.68, we'll see. So it says that I got 14.32 miles per gallon. Let's see what the truck said. What did the truck say? 14.7. So it's a little bit off with these 37s in comparison to what it would be with the other. Now, this truck isn't completely broke in. It's not even had the first oil change on it. And like I said, these high outputs, the DEF use is way more than what you would get on a normal output one or even a 22 and back. This one tends to use the DEF at about a full tank every 3,000 miles, actually 2,500 miles. And you know, I've done a lot of towing already, so that should give you guys an idea of a trip. I'm going to show y'all on these tires. Just, you know, we're driving through all kinds of gravel and stuff. Now, if you're going over 15 mile an hour in rocky gravel and stuff, every now and then they'll pick one up. But nothing like those Duratrax did. So I'm driving through all kinds of gravel when we get up here, and we'll look and see what they look like over here, and that way you guys can check it out and see what you think. Park on this concrete here. And I drove through a bunch of mud and other stuff all the way down there in the log yard. Now you can see here on the outside, this throws mud here. But I mean, if you seen what I should have videoed down there where I was going through the log yard. I mean, it was completely muddy, but look, none of them stupid rocks got stuck in there. Now those Duratrax would have picked up that whole driveway and brought it with us. I mean, it just, these do so well compared to those Duratrax about not picking up rocks. And if it does pick them up, like I said, you can go slow on the highway. I just always, when I pull out somewhere for like a football field, just kind of go slow in the road. And so far, I haven't had anything like those Duratrax. I mean, they're just I don't know. The dirt tracks drove me nuts because of the actual rock pickup that they would do